I will talk to you guys while I finish cooking this food. And guys, I really want to talk about this Dahmer case because this Dahmer case, yo, this Dahmer case really, my camera looks, ew. Let me wipe this off, guys. Horrible. I'm sorry, guys. So, anyways, this Jeffrey Dahmer case has me thinking, and my thought process is the police are right, right? Police are always right. The reason why I say the police are always right because in the Jeffrey Dahmer case, a lot of people say that it's a race thing. And race may have played a part in them ignoring the call of, I believe her name was Glenda, for the 14-year-old boy that was returned to Jeffrey Dahmer, right? So Dahmer told the police that the boy was his, cleaning up, guys, don't mind me. So Dahmer told the police officers that the 14-year-old boy was his 19-year-old boyfriend. And from the picture I seen, you could tell that was definitely not a 19-year-old boy. You could tell that was a kid, right? And I don't even know in that case if it was, even if the cops were just right, they always think they're right. I think it was pure ignorance. Now, a few things you guys do not know about the case is that those cops were suspended, whatever, fired. They appealed. And this is the same practice we still see today, right? Cops appeal, they get their jobs back. The union reps are good, right? A lot of other jobs need a union like the police have, because let me tell you, no one would ever get fired, okay? But let me get back on topic. So anyhow, guys, these cops, I think there were a lot of factors that played a role in them not taking Miss Glenda's word for it. I believe that's her name. One of the factors is the area. So they probably thought, this is a prostitution situation. Let me see. We get calls over here all the time, and we know better than everyone. We know, we're trained, right? We're trained to assess the situation. So they think that their training worked, right? They assessed the situation. This young boy, even though he was out his mind, on whatever medication that Jeffrey Dahmer gave him. Matter of fact, he couldn't even speak sentences. So they shooed the ambulance away, right? Now, that just don't sound right to me. That don't just sound like someone who is just ignoring the voices of the black community, or just ignoring the lady who called because she was black. That sounds pure ignorance to me. It sounds like these were two very cocky police officers. They've been doing the job for a long time, so they think they know it all, right? They think they know it all. And they didn't care enough because it was really mostly, I really think it was about homosexuality. I think that's what it was. You guys have to remember, back in the day, homosexuality was so shameful, right? And then people always thought you sit next to a homosexual, you're going to get HIV. That's what they thought, right? So I think it was more along the lines. That's why Jeffrey Dahmer always played, do you want to come here and see some homosexual stuff? Do you want to see some gay stuff? You know, because he knew the cops didn't want to breathe the same air as him because they were afraid of HIV. And I truly do think that was the issue. Race may have played a role, a small role, because of the area, because they probably is a high crime area. People keep saying, now if this was a Caucasian woman, they would have took her seriously. Here's the thing. I still don't think they would have took her seriously. Do you know why? A Caucasian woman living in that building, a Caucasian woman living in that area, they're going to think, she's beneath us. See, what people don't understand is Caucasians will sometimes discriminate against their own. I mean, it's people, because black people do it too. Let's just say people. People discriminate against people they think they're above, you know? If you think you're inferior to someone because they live in a mansion, they drive a nice car, they're going to think you're inferior to them too. And that's the situation. It's just that area. So they really didn't take Dahmer seriously. They asked him, why are you living in this area? Because they wanted to know, how poor are you? how you look like me and you po-po? Now, if you po-po and you look like me, not black, this is what the cops were thinking because they were Caucasian, right? If the Caucasian cops were thinking you look like me and you living in this, bro, you beneath me. Because Caucasian people get discriminated against too. People don't want to admit that, but they do. I mean, it's facts, right? I mean, people, you know, everybody know I'm pro-black. I definitely am. But at the same time, I mean, we got to be honest. People get discriminated against every day. But anyways, I'm not talking about that. Back to this Jeffrey Dahmer. Now that we know that these cops were fired, and now the 90s gone, right? But when the cops became like the president of their union, the president of their union, the police union, right? The same union that got them their job back. Why, after we knew everything that went on, and they say he retired in 2017. Now, we had all this Me Too movement stuff. We had Black Lives Matter. I'm not sure if Black Lives Matter was out in 2017. I believe it was. Why wasn't this guy removed? Why didn't nobody advocate for him to be removed? Everyone just swept that underneath the rug. I really think this man, because there's so many laws out here, those men, there's so many laws out here to find you a way to get money somehow. All these lawyers, you tell me not one lawyer came up with a way for that family to get paid. They should have been able to have a real civil suit against them, not just the police department, but against those cops civilly. Because let's face it, why should the police department always be sued because of what cops do? And not all cops are bad. Let's just put that out there. Period. We need police. We have a lot of great officers out here. We have a lot of great human beings out here. Period. Let's just put it that way. We got a lot of great people out here, and I think that was the problem. That was the problem with the whole Dahmer situation. The whole Dahmer case was those cops went in there and they didn't see human beings. No matter if, because believe me, they were looking down on Dahmer. They were looking down on him. The problem is we don't see each other as humans. Take race out of it, take color out of it, take gender out of it, take sexual preferences out of it, and just see a person's situation. If they could have been objective to the situation, they would have seen, this ain't right. I don't care if this boy was, I'm not sure what he was, Thai, or I'm not sure what he was, but he was of Asian descent. The young man that lost his life. If they would have just looked at him as a child, they knew he was a child. Can't nobody tell me they didn't know he was a child. They knew he was a child. Believe that. But then I guess when you think about it, maybe the police force did need to be sued too, because they did hire them. And you can't tell me you don't know when your officers are a few marbles loose, okay? They knew. But let's talk about this, right? Let's talk about the fact that these men, those officers, after the Dahmer case was over with and Dahmer was killed in jail and everyone could finally try to get back to their normal lives, except for Tracy Edwards. Tracy Edwards was so traumatized by the situation that went through with Dahmer that he got strung out on drugs, he stayed in trouble, and he ended up getting a murder charge, an attempted murder charge, and going to prison, him and a friend. Sad, right? A victim of his circumstance. But let's say this, right? Where are my catfish? Is it catfish? It's tilapia. Is it catfish shit? But anyways, let's just say that those officers were still in position years later. Who kept them in position? Why did no one go after them? Why is no one not going after them now? We have a movement for people to go after that woman who was responsible for Emmett Till's death, right? And this isn't just a color thing. Like, Caucasians want them put away too, okay? Asians want those officers put away too. We don't care how long ago it was. They need to be held responsible for their actions, you know, because when you're an officer, you have a duty. Now, you're not perfect as an officer. That is true. An officer's job is hard. That is true. But those guys, the way they were speaking, it was condensation, like condensation. Lord, can't speak today. Y'all know what I mean. Condescending. There we go. It was condescending, right? They didn't care about the situation. They weren't there to serve and protect. They had to go to a call they didn't want to go to because, first of all, why do I want to keep going to this neighborhood? I hate this neighborhood. Okay? Second of all, now I get here and I know I have to deal with homosexuals. Oh my God, I don't want to do that, right? So now they're not going to take their job seriously. They're going to try to get out of there and they're going to say whatever. This crazy woman who happens to be black is just batch, I can't say the word crazy. We're going to ignore her. We're going to just act like she's just another woman of color who shouldn't be believed because of where she lived. And even if she wasn't a woman of color, she was a Caucasian woman just because of where she lived, doesn't mean that she shouldn't have been believed or she should have been believed. You know, say if she lived in the Manhattan area somewhere in New York or something, and just because she lives in that area or that zip code, she is right. She's not lying. That's not how that should work. And that's the problem, is they looked at the area, but they did not take anything serious because why should we? It is a trap, a rat trap. We're not gonna go take out the mice, the rats, and we're gonna let them sit there rot and suffer because we don't want to be over there smelling that decaying area and this and that. And I'm just talking about that's how they seen the area. They seen it as nasty. They seen it as people who they should give up on. They didn't take these people's lives seriously. They did not see them as human beings, and that's the issue. Race doesn't necessarily have to play a part in it when you look at it. Now, I'm not gonna say it didn't, but I think there was a lot of other factors in this case. I really do, because you have to remember Jeffrey Dahmer, he got away with a lot of stuff, and he always used the gay. I'm gay. It's homosexual stuff, and he didn't even come off as a gay man, right? He didn't come off as a gay man. I look at that man, and I'm like, man, he don't look like he was gay at all, you know. But I do think he preyed upon the black community, and I think he preyed upon the black community because cops don't respond there, and it was a nice place for him to hide and be a predator. And it wasn't just because black people live there. There were people who were not black living in that community too. But it's just a high crime area. If it was all Caucasian people live there in the trailer park, say it was a trailer park, they're going to treat it the same way. Just because they're thinking about classism. They're beneath me. They don't want to take it seriously. But we have to address that, you know. I know I'm getting a lot of people gonna be mad at me for this, but like, no, but you just have to say, no, I can't just look at it from one way because this situation isn't just about race. But anyways, this is always this stigma around the police officers that they're always right. You could trust them, they don't lie. And those cops lied. Those cops failed at their duty. Those cops didn't care, and it's unfortunate because we have some cops who do that. But I want you guys to think about this. One second, let me stir this up. I'm not sure garnet onions and stuff. Y'all, look at this. Me running my mouth. Look at my onions. Me running my mouth. But anyways, one second. Okay, man, did not put the brushes all the way away. But anyways, guys, I really did lose train of thought. But you got to think about how those officers who had to work with them felt. I don't think every officer praised them. You know why? Because we didn't have a lot of officers who were willing to come out the closet then. They were undercover and they were in the closet, right? You don't think they felt some type of way about that? They did. But because of their lifestyle and their choices, they can't come out then. There's a lot of factors that play into this Dahmer situation, because the 90s was an era where you could not be yourself. There's a lot of cops on that force that couldn't be themselves at that time. And then you gotta remember, there were some cops of color on that force. They probably felt some type of way too. But imagine how powerless those cops were. They have to go to work and look at these men every day, and these guys are getting awards, and you got real heroes out here. You got real cops out here to get up every morning. They leave their family, they put that badge on, and they go into walking straight into hell some days. You understand? Like, imagine cops who have to patrol in Chicago. They're walking through hell. Excuse my language. But they are. And people don't look at that. And sometimes they can get desensitized, but not all of them. That's the thing, not all of them. Not all police officers are desensitized. Not all police officers act or think the way those cops who handled the Jeffrey Dahmer case act. You know? Or, let's talk about the judge. Question, is he still alive? Where does he live? Lawsuits? Is that still an option? Any awards or accolades that he may have gotten, can they be stripped? Those cops, those awards that they received, what can we do to renounce those awards? What can we do to strip them of those? Why do they still have a pension? There are so many questions. There are so many steps that we can take against those frauds. They ain't put no badge on and cared about the job. They disgrace these men and women who actually go out here and put their lives on the line. They gotta watch their backs because you got the whole community out there hating them just because they just simply put on a badge. And we don't know how they feel. Now, people know, if a cop's wrong, I'm gonna hold them accountable. I am, but I'm not anti-police. I'm anti-police criminals. I am anti, don't break the law if you're supposed to uphold the law. You know, it's not like Judge Dredd. I can never break the law. I am the law. You know? But anyways, guys, there's just so many things that was just done wrong with that case. And how many documentaries are there? I'm pretty sure every time a documentary was released, it shook the community up. We all wonder why wasn't nothing done. But guys, this wasn't a black, a white, a brown, or just an Asian issue. This was a people issue. We all should have came together. Everyone from every walk of life should have came together each time a documentary was released to hold those officers accountable. Because this is the thing. What if it was your child who happens to be Caucasian, who was moving out your house and they can't afford to live in the nice neighborhoods, right? So they have to live in the lower income households. And because you want your child to be responsible and you want them to get it up by the bootstraps, you're going to allow them to do it. What if an officer comes out there and respond? Just because your child is Caucasian does not mean those officers are going to do their jobs right. They're going to do their due diligence. They would discriminate against them because they must be very poor. They must be in the lower income bracket. So that's what I'm saying. This is not about race necessarily. It isn't. Homosexuality, yeah, maybe. There's a lot of factors here. I would say race played a role. Homosexuality played a role. Classism played a role. You know, there was a lot of things that played the role in that young man losing his life. And the reason why I advocate so much for him is because there was a chance to save someone. Like, think about that. Everyone else, we didn't know about them being in Dahmer's apartment, not until their bodies were found. But here it is. This guy, this young kid, this young boy, 14, this young baby had the chance to have a hero. And the person who tried to step up to be his voice was silenced. Maybe because she was black. Maybe because she was poor. I'm not sure. Maybe it's because they just didn't take it seriously and they just said, it's just another ghetto situation. And it involves homosexuality. I want no parts. don't know. But I do know that we have to stop talking about it's a black issue, it's a white issue. Nah, it's a people issue. Do we all not walk this earth? Are we all not a part of the United States of America? What happens if someone from Russia comes over here and they want to go to war with us, or they coming and attacking us? We're not looking at each other, oh my God, you're black, so you can't come fight over here and help me defend America. Nah, we're going to join arms and we're going to defend our country. Because that's what we're supposed to do. If everyone would stop looking at this classism thing, this race thing, this sexual preference thing, I think we'd be better off. I'm not sure if humankind will ever be able to just get along or just love each other. I pray one day we do. But guys, I'm at my 20-minute mark. If you guys made it to the end of this video, please like and subscribe and leave a comments, guys. I want you guys' advice. Bye. Toodles.